Do you remember last time we looked at how to find C, D, and E on the keyboard? Wouldn't it be nice if you actually had a keyboard there? Because then you could look at these notes and actually play these because you know where D is, you know where E is, you know where C is. It's pretty easy to play them. And if we were together, I would ask someone to come to the piano and please play these notes, in which they would play E, D, C, D, E, 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 and then I would give them this line and say, please play these, which is D, 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 E, E, E. Now you probably recognize this by now, most people would. And I would say, go on and play this one, E, D, C, D, E, E, E. And that would be so good, I'd say go ahead and finish the rest of it, which is D, D, E, D, C. And even if you have never played the piano, you would be able to figure this out just by looking at those letters, and there's only 3 different letters to play. And you probably recognize the melody to Mary Had a Little Lamb as we play that, right? Or Merrily We Roll Along is called that too. Now the problem with this, even though it has communicated to us what the song is, first of all, it doesn't tell us anything about how long each one of these notes should last. That's a different topic we'll cover soon. It does kind of tell us to play these 3 together and these 3 together. But other than that, it tells us nothing about the timing. And also, it does not look like the notes that we're going to hear, because this should be lower, lower, higher, higher. It doesn't look like it, okay? And unless you're familiar with those letters, you would not know what that was. Much better would be a system that represents visually what we are going to hear. As I've said here, musicians need a system of notation that can visually represent what the music will sound like. So they came up with the idea of a grid of lines with small squares on it, and that was called the staff. And that will look like, we'll see the example in just a moment, but the early ones only had 1 or 2 lines. So I've made up one here with 3 lines. So they have these long horizontal lines that are equidistant apart, and that is called the staff. And you put the little, later they were ovals, but they started out as squares. You put the squares on the line to show what the notes are. But what the squares are, it doesn't have any meaning without this guy right here. I put the letter D on the middle line to tell us anything on this line is going to be a D. And anything in the space above it is E, and this line will be F. And if we go down, it'll be backwards. D down to C, and then this bottom line will be B. So let's look at that again. I'm telling us the middle line is D, this is E, and then up here is F, and then here's D again. Below that is C, and below that is B. So when I get these notes on here, that is, let's see, this is D, it's 1 higher, that's an E. This is back on D, the middle line. This is below that, so that's a C, back to D, back to E, another E, another E, and that's a D, another one, a third one. Now we're back up to E, another E, and another E. So now we have E, D, C, D, E, 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 D, 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 E, E, E. And even if you have never read music, you can see that the melody kind of goes down a little bit, then comes up. It has 3 of the same, 3 of the same that are a little bit lower, and then 3 of the same back at the beginning. So this one, although here again, it doesn't tell us anything about how long these notes are going to last, this is a way of communicating the music that visually communicates it, visually relates to what you're going to hear. And it's much better, and it's what we still use in music now, although the idea of 3 lines was not enough. It was only a little while till people needed way more. They were using as many as 10 lines. That's just too much. You can't read 10. So it finally evolved to a standard of 5 lines and 4 spaces, and that's what we see today. That is called the staff, and it still has the letter at the beginning, like you saw D on the last screen. It still has that, but now, let you see that again. But now we use other things to represent the letters at the beginning.